God's Child YouTube channel. I'm here with my co-host Candy Nelson, and tonight we have named the topic that we will be speaking of as "Easy Come, Easy Go." This has a ton of meaning and a lot of reflection on many aspects in life. So, with that said, right now I'm going to actually hand this over to Candy Nelson and give it away to her because she was the brainiac behind this name, which I love, and it makes complete sense. So, Candy, how are you doing this evening, and what would you like to add as far as how you came up with the topic tonight?
Just it's so much going on. It's like all of a sudden, like information and technology is there, and then all of a sudden it's not. And it's like, what happened to it? I know it was there. And, with our symptoms, like, I'm having some issues breaking out here more recently than I have in a long time. And I'm like, I started getting upset and stressed about it. I'm like, I knew too by getting upset and stressed, it was making it worse. And I'm like, oh, I can't get down that rabbit hole. I can't go there. So I have to stay positive, because I know that, it's going to get worse if I don't, you
Amen.
know.
Of men.
And I got
Oh God.
so much going on too in my own life, and trying to keep up with everything and everybody and all my just stuff.
Lots going on in there.
Oh, and
All
yeah,
aspects.
my husband finally told me, he's like, you got too many craft projects. He's like, you need to whittle some of it down.
You
So
know what?
I've been,
That's good for the heart and soul, though. It takes our attentions away from having to focus on the nonsense all the time. So
and,
keep telling me you need those projects. They're important.
well, and some of them I don't, so I did go in there and start cleaning out some of my resin molds, a lot of them.
Yeah, but just
I
don't forget
wasted
you
so
have
much
to
money.
enjoy things too.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, I can limit it to like smaller things. I don't have to have these big, massive
I'm not gonna
molds.
lie, you should see my craft room. It's a disaster, and I start something and I don't finish it ever. Actually,
I was like,
I get
oh,
halfway done. I'm like, oops.
yeah, it's like finding new stuff in there. I'm like, hey, I hadn't seen this in
God,
20
I
years.
got that. Yeah. So we were talking earlier about how you were looking up online the
Black salve recipe.
black sap. Yeah. So you want to start with that because I think everyone would find this interesting, and you and I also re-looked again and found something different every search, which is speaking of algorithm sentences, so to speak. Um, Algorithm or a sentient being, who knows? But I think this is relevant, and I think we should start with how you stumbled across what you did. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna put you up here.
Okay. Well, so for those that don't know, back when I was having like serious physical symptoms, I did a lot of things to get relief. Well, the last thing that I treated my legs with was the homemade black drawing salve, which there was a recipe that I got off the internet for it. And it was just all herbs and natural ingredients. Well, the controversy around black salve is that it eats your skin away. Um, but in all actuality, for me personally, it pulled out the bad stuff. And yeah, I have scars from it, but my legs are like, oh my God, they're like 1,000 times better. So, it's like it worked for me. Um, I wasn't advising anybody to use it on themselves. I just said this is what worked for me. I never give medical advice because don't have the legal right to do so. I'm not doing that. When I say something, it's like because I did it myself. So anyway, I used that stuff for a long time. Um, I ordered the herbs from a company. They came in a pre-mix bag. Came in 25 grams of each herb. There was 4 different ones. It was 100 grams in the bag. So anyway, it told you how to mix it and all the ingredients and what you needed and how to do it. And so I did all that, and then So a couple weeks ago, one of my Facebook friends messaged me and said, "Would you send me the link on how to make that salve?" So I went and found the link. I sent it to her, and she messaged me back and she said they've taken it down. And I was like, oh. So thankfully, years ago, when I was using that, I actually hand wrote that recipe down. And I told her that I'm sure I did, because if not, it would have been lost forever, because it's gone. It's easy come, easy go, you know? And so I was actually able to go find the handwritten recipe, sent it to her. And so, I was able to save that. And then another thing too that happened recently, I had sent my hair off to be analyzed for glyphosate poisoning quite a few years ago, and it came back toxic for this chemical called aminomethylphosphonic acid. I know y'all have heard us talk about that before. And so when I went and looked up that term, because the glyphosate was negative, and I looked up that term, Wikipedia come up and gave a definition in layman's terms that basically said that it is a degradation chemical added to the glyphosate to degrade it. So it was added to the glyphosate to degrade the glyphosate, but it even said that it's more toxic than the glyphosate itself because it dissolves it. And so I was like, what? So when I went out and started researching that, there's been no testing done on that chemical, because it's like a hidden ingredient into the glyphosate, which is what's being sprayed on the food supply, And so it's like, okay, so recently went on Wikipedia, went out there to look, and the definition in layman's term is gone. If you look up the term now, the Wikipedia only describes it as like all this scientific data mumbo jumbo that is like not for the common man to be able to understand anything of what that thing is saying. Well, thank goodness again, I screenshotted that, I copied it, I pasted it, and I actually gave my doctor a copy of the definition and the material safety data analysis on it, and it's in my medical file. So that is in my medical file at my doctor's office. Luckily, like I said, I screenshotted that, I saved it. It's gone forever. It's gone. They changed it. So then earlier today, when I was thinking about my, little bit of lesions here that's coming back, I was like, I just went on the internet and I said, skin symptoms that wax and wane, and I hit search. Well, when waxing and waning came back, it came back as maybe I just did waxing and waning. That's what I was looking at. It came back as a lunar, having to do with the moon and the phases of the moon and how they wax and wane. The second definition that came back was of a medical term that is used to describe mental conditions that wax and wane. And I'm like, well, go figure. Now it's a mental condition now. So I was like, okay, well, that wasn't what I was looking for. So then I went and put, what was it? I put skin conditions that come and go. And so I came across this link. It said 15 rare skin conditions. Well, when I'm scrolling through and I'm looking at the different skin conditions, it said 15 rare skin conditions. I'm looking through. Well, the fifth one said Morgellons and gave a definition for Morgellons. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of weird. So I copied the link. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go share this with my groups and stuff. So I go back to my page and I go to paste it. Well, I said, well, before I actually post it, I'm going to click on the link again. I clicked on the link again. I'm scrolling through, and number 5, Morgellons was number 5. It was gone. and I'm seeing everything else. I'm seeing all these other skin conditions, but the one for Morgellons was gone. And I knew what I had just read. I had just read it not just 2 or 3 minutes before then. I was like, what in the heck? So then that stalled me from sharing the link. And then I had to go back out and try to like figure out what's going on. I go back, I kept looking at the link over and over and over again. It wasn't there. I knew I read it the first time. So got to looking, and it said it went up to number 19, which my first link said 15 rare skin conditions. And I was like, what? So then I go back and start search again. Well, I found the other link, researched it again, looked down through, and sure enough, number 5 was still there on Morgellons. So the link I copied is not what got posted when I went to go post it. It wouldn't happen. And I was like, wow. So I was telling Lisa about it earlier, and she went to the link, and she said, well, it's showing on mine as number 6. And I'm like, oh, well, that's weird. So I was like, let me go check my page and see if it moved from number 5 to number 6. So she went out, she goes back into her link, and it was number 2. And I'm like, the heck? So I finally get to my page, I go click on it, and it was number 5. So we have no idea what was going on with all of that. But anyway, I was able to put it out there, put it on my page. And, but, you know, we were just all day long. It was like, man, things just come and go so quickly. And it's like, before you know it, it's like you think you have information, and then all of a sudden it's not there anymore. You know, so, I mean, I just want to say to everybody, I don't care what it is. If it's out there on the internet, you know, just because it's there don't mean it's going to be there the next time you come. So if it's important, or if it's vital to helping someone, or something that's going to happen in the future, oh my gosh.
That?
Yeah, I hear it. So, you know, I'm just saying.
Speaking of what you're saying, I'm going to show them the 15 rare skin conditions that we looked up. Is that on right now?
Yeah. No, I don't see it yet.
Okay, hold on. I just got it up here. How about now?
Nope.
That feedback is ridiculous. Okay, let me take both of us.
Hi, Argo. He says hello. And
Hold on.
Kat says she's been using. Oh, wait a minute, something's coming up. Can you make the screen bigger? I can see it, but the screen's kind of small.
Yeah, let me do that. I'm gonna put us. Yeah, that's weird.
Or get rid of the comments on the side. Can you get rid of the comments on the side?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm still freaking trying to. Okay, let me just take the overlay on that off. That's still not the. Let me put you and I. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me do this. So now when I go to this to share that, is it big yet or no?
Yes, it is now.
Okay, so here's it's 15 is what comes up with. Now it's got Morgellons down here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Polling. Let's see what we get here with that coming up, if it does. So here we've got number 2.
No, you didn't click on the link. You got to go back and click on the link. You're not at the right thing.
I'm not?
No, go back.
Okay, well, I have Morgellons right here. Is that not showing?
No, that's not the right link. Go back. Close that one out. Okay. You're on 10 rare skin.
That's why. Okay. Like let me just redo this. Let me remove the source. Just 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to retype this in. Oh, this is not helping me at all, is it? Okay, so 15 most rare.
That's the one you want to click on. You didn't click on the link. You just kept scrolling on the main page.
Yeah, I was doing that on purpose just to show the different things, the different sites that it shows up on as well. But I mean, the weird thing is though, on the 15 most rare. Wait, hold on. This is weird too. It's not even coming up. But okay, picture of 15 most uncommon. Okay, so let me go back here and I'm going to share this. Get rid of this. I got to get rid of some of the things that are on my.
We need to look and see if there's a date too on that when they posted it.
Okay, let me try to share this. Going to the whole window. So I click on the 15 showing up.
Not yet. Sometimes it takes a minute to.
Okay.
Is it raining here?
Yeah, I mean, I was losing connection a second.
Yeah. I was just wondering if that's what we hear in the background or the weed eater.
No, so the weed eater's not going on, but we have a tropical storm actually turned hurricane in the Gulf West. I'm thinking. Where did it go? Okay, so that went away. Hold on, just bear with me because I was just there. Okay. I don't know, all sorts of weird things are going. It seems like everything I do, which would typically work just fine with anything. Like if I have to have a meeting online with my office or anything like that, I'm going to have no problem doing so. If I got to show a picture of something I'm doing live online with my office or whatever,
right that
I'm going to have no problem doing so, right?
Right there.
Is that showing up at all?
Yeah, that's it. It's WebMD.
So here we go. And Candy, you've been through this. I actually went through this myself.
This says the date said April 26, 2022.
Which is weird because it didn't say that earlier.
I didn't look earlier.
Okay, so this is the peeling skin syndrome, which I have had this, but it's not a sunburn.
Right?
So
that's what I was thinking. Looking at all of them, I'm like, we had all of this before, you know, at different times. Come and go. Easy come, easy go.
Right. Look at that one. Microbiosis lapia.
Yep.
Epidermolytic ichthyosis.
I had that too. I had that too. I mean, it's not chronic though.
Poor baby, and Sheila's got a grandson patterning.
I had that. It was like alligator
Sheila
skin.
has a grandson that had this patterning all over him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I said I had that too. It was like alligator.
All over. There's your Morgellons.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Got that same Morgellons patterning though, but so like Sheila has this exact patterning on the back of her neck now, which has actually turned into heart shape. Which is, you know, we see the patterning of the, what do you call it? The hexagonal or hexagonal patterning, which like the glitter that comes out of our bodies, the hexagon like shape, and the hive mind is what a lot of people like to say, with the honeycomb or the shapes of it, just like your beeswax did.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of this in here, as well as the glitter that comes out, seems to have those hexagonal shapes, is what I like to say.
Look over at
Sheila has this going on.
Look at the far left corner over there by. Look at the far left corner over by her fabric that she's wearing. There's like a little heart shape there. Yeah. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, the heart. Yeah, and that's what Sheila was just telling me about. So, speaking of, I need to tell her that we're on because she's had a rough time lately. Hold on. Okay, so this though, I mean, I watched Sheila's breakout. She showed me how it started, and it went from little dots to like a rash, and then all of a sudden to this big, huge area that covers covered her whole entire back. And then we all experience these little white hair follicle type things, which I call tubes, breathing tubes, because I don't believe they're hair at all. Well, she had a whole line of them all standing up on end on the back side of her neck, just like this as well. And we've all had this, but hers is, the reason I bring it up for her individually is because she has it going on right here, all of this. And they made these little heart-shaped sores on her, which, in my opinion, end up being those hexagonal, clusters, which means man-made disease or whatever you want to call it. But so what they say, Morgellons disease, it feels like something is crawling on, stinging, or biting you. Some people have tiny fibers on their skin and problems with memory, mood, and concentration. Amen to that one. Says through certain studies suggest a possible to infection. Many scientists believe it's a mental health issue. You might have the mistaken belief that you're infested. The doctor will try to rule out other causes and may suggest therapy. Now, might I add, why on earth would they put this under rare skins if you can clearly see your uncommon skin conditions, which, might be uncommon, but it's every day. But why would it even be listed under that if they're trying to say it's delusional? Because, I'm sorry, this is on the back of her neck, at the back of her back. How on God's green earth are you going to think, oh, I just feel something crawling on me, maybe a fiber or some little insects, and have you reach your back with your own hands and possibly inflict that on yourself? And CDC, I want to call you idiots right now. We're not opening your damn eyes. How's this woman going to reach back with her hand and inflict, self-inflict all of these wounds upon her own back of her neck and her back? Oh, and make this perfect little heart shape. How's she going to do so, huh? So I'm just saying out loud here.
And not only that, to bring attention to all those 15 conditions, that's the only one that states anything about a mental problem.
Right.
The rest of it.
So everything must be a problem these days.
Why are you putting under a mental problem?
We all are
under
just
skin condition. It left.
Exactly.
Easy come, easy go.
I can't find you anymore. There it went. I'm not seeing you anymore.
The last tab. The very last tab. The next one over.
Well, on mine, it's not coming up anymore. Though. Yeah, right. I am not coming up on our list anymore.
There you go. That's it. I see you.
That's weird. When I go back to our stream, though, I'm not there anymore. So I'm just going to leave myself off. But truth be told, even this one, for instance, what on God's green earth would cause this? A blue hand and a white hand. I mean, the skin coloring, the tiny bites. I mean, if you get all these things, this is like coal silver buildup, they want to say. Now, I'm not going to lie. My skin turned this color one time. Had nothing to do with colloidal silver, what they want to call that anyway. There is no such thing, by the way, as that poisoning. You're not going to turn blue. And I had a doctor actually tell me that.
Yeah, I wasn't even taking colloidal silver.
Because here's your blow. Me neither. I've taken it, but I've never turned blue with it. But I turned blue one other time without ever getting it. But I'm looking at all of these skin conditions that it's showing here. I'm sorry, but how is this normal? Because this is all something, like everything I see on here is something we've all with Morgellons have experienced. Am I right or am I right?
Yep. That's the same thing I was thinking. I mean, we've all been through all those symptoms.
That's true. I mean, and has experienced this right here. Coming out. Here we are, 2022. And I was like, oh, we'll give it a name. We're going to call this epidermolytic ichthyosis, or I don't even care what that says. The point is, BS. None of this should be happening. This is one culprit affecting different DNA and genes, or genetic makeup, in different ways. And for some of us, we're getting all of this because most of us have positive and negative bloodlines in us. And I don't think it has anything to do with, oh, you're the O negative, you're the negative, you are a Tyrannosaurus Rex. No, it has nothing to do with that. Because if you have a negative bloodline, that means that you have a perfect bloodline. You have no spikes, meaning manipulated bloodlines in your body. Because anyone's blood that is positive means they have these little spike things hanging off of the actual blood that it has been tainted. So if you're negative bloodline, your bloodline, that's why you're universal donors, by the way. So Velociraptor, you're not a reptilian. You're not. Fallen angels were here for sure. This has nothing to do with that. I myself have always been told I'm O positive. My husband at the time was O positive. I have an O negative daughter. She is not a raptor. She's not a reptilian. She came from both and I being positive. And you're welcome. Either way, two positives make a negative. Two negative positive. I mean, it's just algebra. It's plain and simple. So when people are trying to figure out what's your blood type, what's your bloodline, what's this, what's that, you're barking up the wrong tree. What you need to be barking up is who's been messing with what, and contaminating the genes and microorganisms and microbials and different autism and fibromyalgia and cystic fibrosis. All these things that you're looking at right here that we never had issues with before in the past. And speaking of the water, Candy, we go back to the whole Gulf Coast flu plague, right? And I was just talking about that, but Candy, what are your thoughts on that Gulf Coast flu plague? And you can look it up. It's true. It's true. It goes back to Event Horizon.
Well, my thoughts on anything they try to say that's contaminated with the ocean. Yeah, I'm still here. If you think about it, it's like, yeah, we know toxic stuff is going in the ocean. It's full of stuff. And like I was telling you earlier, even when I went to the sulfur springs, we go to the sulfur springs. I took my friend Lori Campbell went with me. We're walking on the stream going out, and all along the sides of the stream going out was just gobs and gobs and gobs of Morgellons fibers. So that sulfur water was like, in the way I was thinking, it's like all those people in that water, that stuff's coming out of their bodies and it's washing downstream, and it got caught up in the brush on the sides of that little, I don't know what you call it, little exit.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and so even with the ocean, we know toxic stuff's going in there. It's like I was telling somebody the other day. We know toxic stuff is going in there. But God put that ocean there with that salt water in there for a purpose, to heal. And not only, do I believe that it heals us, but I believe it can heal the ocean too. So yeah, some might die in that process. And like I was telling the lady the other day, if I go to the beach, I'm no longer afraid of going in the water. I'm no longer afraid of walking in the sand, even though I can see all the nanotech in the sand. I can see it. It just sparkles and shines everywhere. But I will not fear it anymore. But again, God also gave us a brain. So if you go to the beach and it's full of jellyfish all over the damn place,
I know what's here in the Gulf Coast.
Well, like I said, if you go to the beach and you're going to go in the water and there's jellyfish everywhere, you're not going to walk barefooted. And then when you get to the water,
the sad thing is, though, you can't see these microbials. That's the sad thing. That's what I'm seeing and noticing.
Well, and then if you get up there and there's a bunch of dead fish laying on the shore, am I going to get in that water? No. If I see black goo floating on the top of the water, am I going to dive in? No.
Yep.
God also gave us a brain to think with.
So Hurricane Harvey hit and Event Horizon happened, right? And I was part of that cleanup. And this is all about the time I got sick as well. So what I would like to say about this Gulf Coast area, one thing I did notice, so there's Lake Somerville, which is approximately 30 miles, probably northwest of where I live. Lake Somerville, oddly enough, had all these dead fish wash up on. I'm talking thousands. The water lines receded to areas unknown that they hadn't been before. And this was again, this was around the time Harvey hit. So this has been, 6 years back or so. But I mean, all I can remember is all these dead fish everywhere, which would have nothing to do with the water rising or going lower. Now, Somerville is known to be a very, very hot, overheated lake. It's not anything unusual that, that's what it is and known to be. But the fish still thrived before, as do the water moccasins, because the water moccasins actually killed a whole family that jumped off their boat to go swimming at one time. That's how real it is. But I guess what I'm getting at is after Harvey hit, especially, we came across my daughter and I, especially. It's like weird. My husband had left all the same at the same time. I'm not my first husband. This is a whole different one, but neither here nor there. We were just looking for ways to vent and ease our minds and try to, I guess, make it, out of the darkness where I felt like we were. Harvey hit. He left right before Harvey. Harvey hit. My daughter and I, rescued animals that had been stranded. People that, like the Red Cross, couldn't even accommodate all of the people that were, left without a place to go. They were sitting outside, and those that had animals that they had brought with them, they had nowhere to go. So my daughter and I were going back and forth between the Red Cross and our own home at the time, which, was the home I bought with the man that left, which still got taken out from under me. But what happened was we were hauling these people back and forth, and all these people were living in swampy areas. And the one thing I noticed when taking these people back home or whatnot is this black gooey mess, okay? But I never thought much of it. So after that, I knew I still had to make a living. So and obviously you're not going to do much process serving or no private investigations, anything like that going on then. So I became my own cleanup crew. I actually bought into a pressure washer and garbage barrels and lots of gloves, and I was trying to help with the cleanup in people's homes and houses. And I encountered much black goo and mold, but I never thought anything of it. So keep in mind that, this is not actually registering with me. But then I went down, to the Brazos River, which is a very big, old, ancient river. And I'm looking, and one of my favorite things and pastimes is artifact hunting. You can call me a rock hounder or an artifact hunter. I don't care what you call me, but I pay close attention to anything ancient, old, and historical because I always find that there is complete lies in our ancient history. It holds no truth to what they've told us. And you can pick up any rock or any artifact and you can see that. And you can get any paintings on the walls of caves. So long story short, I've been down to the river, and I remember coming up with this black goo of what I am almost 100% certain was either a very old and ancient dinosaur skeletal figure or an actual large giant skeleton humanoid. It's the only way to explain it, okay? I mean, you don't have to believe me. Don't care. I know what I saw. I no history of being mentally insane, and any of you that have Morgellons disease know how this goes. So long story short, I was digging and digging, and I had a friend with me at the time. But I had come up with this black goo again that would not come off my hands. It was not coming off. I don't care how hard I washed. I used literally straight or what do you call it, the nail polish remover, right? So I tried everything. Why am I drawing a blank on nail polish remover?
Acetone?
Yeah, 100% pure acetone. I tried everything to remove that goo, and it would not come. It stayed on my fingertips for like a couple of days. But my friend that was with me, we were trying to uncover this thing. And we're talking about 30 foot long in length to its width was at least 8 foot in length with actual rib cage.
Wow.
Easy to see with the eye. Brazos River is huge, old, and ancient. in no way do I doubt at all that what we had uncovered was something so extremely old and ancient. Keep in mind, this was after Harvey. Everything was a stirred up mess. Everything was a stirred up mess. So that means that even the depths of that river, the Gulf Coast is not too far from there, which is your ocean. It feeds into the ocean. So your Brazos River runs through country, feeds into the ocean. But you're going to have some backlash and backstir. And it stirred up all sorts of stuff to where seeing portions of that river, the banks and the sides that were never ever seen before. Hundreds of years, at least, thousands of years, even more of that. So that's when I started noticing these weird things showing up. And I mean, I've got a mammoth tooth that sits approximately a foot and a half tall, huge. I mean, undeniable mammoth tooth. I have it sitting here in my house right now, a mammoth tooth. And I have no doubt that that mammoth tooth was attached to a mammoth. But I couldn't get down any further. As you're walking on the river, you look at something like, so to speak, like a tennis shoe imprint, but face up. When you dig, you pull out this big tooth. So, more than likely the whole mammoth was down there. What I'm getting at is that black goo got on my friend, though, from digging these same artifacts out. And he became, I don't care what anyone says, do you believe me or not? I would not have believed myself at one time. He became possessed. He wrapped his hands around my neck. I watched his hands turn black, okay? And then I watched the veins that ran from his hands down become black, running up his arm into his necklines, all the veinage that goes into your neck and your face, and partial portions of his face turn black, and wrap his hands around my neck. True story, true as can be. Yes, this is freaky. You know it shouldn't have happened. I don't care if you believe or not here to convince, telling you like it is. Wrapped his hands, and I couldn't breathe. And I just remember I said, Jesus Christ out loud. I said, Jesus, please, Jesus Christ, please. And, I felt the grip loosen. And then I said, I love you. You're my friend. I love you. And I'm saying it in voice that I barely had. So it was a whisper and a choke. But the point is that when I said that, those words, he let go, grip loosened. He still had a hold though. And I said one more time when the grip wasn't so tight, I said, Jesus loves you. And he let go, like threw his hands back. And I watched his eyes, the whites of his eyes become black. Like that black goo was black. The whites of his eyes became black. His whole eyes were black. Now, yes, he's naturally, a black-haired, brown-eyed person. But I mean, the whites of your eyes don't go black like that, ever. Not that we should know, right? But it happened. And there's nothing else I can say other than that's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. And I never forgot about that because it was the very next day that I was taking all those artifacts that I hauled from the Brazos River up to where I was living, and I was putting them in buckets of water and washing them off, trying to go through them better because I had pottery and like arrowheads and broken pieces of daggers and spears. So I was going through all of this, and what happened was I looked into the water, the bucket of water, as it became clear, and I was pouring off and then filling back up, pouring off to clarify it. And lo and behold, out of these rocks, what some would call rocks, they were artifacts, because every rock you see is an artifact actually living at one time. But lo and behold, all these white little fibers just started wiggling out of these rocks in the pores of the rocks. Out of the pores of the rocks came these fibers. True story, I'll never hear. Happened without a doubt. And nobody's going to tell me different. So this goes back to even ancient and old, so to speak. So yes, genetics have been manipulated. 100%, I don't doubt that. And I think it's all one big plan with everything going on in the skies and the flybys with the con artist tracks and the microbials that have been genetically designed as well as genetically modified organisms. I think this is one piece of a huge, ginormous puzzle and a picture that's been going on for thousands of years. Because when you witness that happen and then all of a sudden those little fibers that shot out from the rocks, well, the very next day are shooting out of my skin, and suddenly I have full-fledged Morgellons. Because of course I look back and I'm like, I always had signs and weird things happening, but I mean, you tell me. It tells me that this has been, it's ancient and old. And then when Event Horizon happened with the oils, they're digging down deep, drilling into the earth with the equipment. And they hit this point where the whole thing blew up, right? But in that oil is all these microbials and these ancient ones. And they lay dormant, by the way. They can lay dormant. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You can look it up. It's true. So if they're laying dormant, and then they drill in and Event Horizon happens, and then you go on to Hurricane Harvey stirring up a nest of black goo, which to me, black goo is your dark matter and also a portion of the evil, the realms and rooms of this world. It's very obvious.
And about those hurricanes, because I'm in Florida, we get them, but I'm going to tell you, oh, this was so hard on me. I mean, when I watched the news about all that flooding in Texas and how all that water was in those people's homes and the levees broke in Louisiana and all that water from, the levees breaking. But I'm going to tell you, every single time before we have a huge hurricane come over Florida, no lie, it's like I watch the skies just completely sprayed. Like a week ahead of time, 2 weeks, when they know a big storm's coming, they spray, 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 spray. And I watched this before a hurricane came one time.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching it, knowing what I'm seeing, knowing what's happening. So we had to leave during that hurricane. We left, we came back. My husband went to work. I get in my vehicle, I drive around the neighborhood. I got picture after picture after picture and videos of the webbing just completely covered everything in our neighborhood. And actually,
and that's one thing I noticed after Harvey.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Going from telephone pole to telephone pole, just everywhere. The farms, everything was just completely saturated. And then when, like I said, it got all that flooding in Texas, and I was seeing those people's homes with all that water inside of it, and knowing that they had to go in there and clean that up, I was like, oh my God, these people are going to get so sick, because guess what? What goes up must come down,
And if you think about it, like not too long after that, now keep in mind, it seemed like a lot of us between the years of 2014 to 18, the majority of the tolls and tallies I've taken, it seems like when most people got sick, you know what I mean? Like Morgellons, or became awake or aware, whether it be UFOs or Bigfoot or a Loch Ness Monster, or just I've been taken, or there's a shadow figure at the end of my bed, or any of the above, which I believe in all, because once you get Morgellons, there's not too much you don't believe in anymore. And not to mention the things that you see and start experiencing after you become afflicted with the knowledge of Morgellons. And again, I think Morgellons is still one of the smallest pieces of the picture. It's just one portion of it. The picture is much bigger. Morgellons is a portion of that. But it all fits together. The UFO phenomenon, the orbs, the lights in the sky, the Loch Ness Monster, the Bigfoot phenomenon, the Nessie, the little minute of the great aliens. They're all one big supernatural, the lightning, supernatural piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and the circular lightning I seen the other night.
The circular lightning, and that's very real. I've seen only one other time myself.
I was like,
but I mean, I've been in a microburst where it blew my car up in the air. All these things that never occurred in. You don't see it mentioned in any historical book, in any historical level, or even paintings by artists. You don't see things like that happening. You do, however, see the gray aliens, the round, circular, what some would call UFOs. I believe they're plasmatic, organic beings. It's me, what I've seen. I don't even know. I'm not even trying to know. What I do know, though, it's real. It's happening. Don't need the answers. I need one answer. Just one. That's God. God and Jesus Christ, that's the only thing that's gotten any of us as far as we have. I mean, if you think about it, there's no other way you got here by yourself. But God's got me through that. Jesus Christ and Yeshua HaMashiach. That's the only answers we need. But the truest story of all is dark matter is real. Hell is real. Satan is chained in the pits of the earth, but is meant to work daily. Your Almighty God gave man free will because he didn't listen the first few times around. He's like, you know what, I love you, but dang it, I'm tired. Just like there's a be like struggling with a teenage child that's so rebellious and won't stop, and it's just like, I love you, but man, all right, well, let you have free will. You have to learn the hard way, I guess. And that's how the Almighty God works with us too. It doesn't stop His love, doesn't stop His need to be there, and all He says, just cling to me. I think we forget that.
Rocket says hi.
What's
I
that?
said Rocket says hi.
Hello, how are you, Anthony Brown? Hello, everyone. So, Candy, I don't know, but like easy come, easy go, and this also has to do with the Facebook channels, right? When people want to say something that's not very nice on there, the groups.
Yeah.
Like Candy says, nobody's allowed on my channel that's sitting there being a bully or anything else. Easy come, easy go. She'll have bye, Felicia. Because, I mean, there has been a history of some of those channels that, whether you be a targeted individual or Morgellons afflicted individual or a UFO phenomenon type person individual or gang stalking or whatever you want to call it, MK Ultra, because there's a lot out there and they're all real. Sorry, but they are.
Well, and like I was telling you earlier too, right now I'm blessed with wonderful doctors that I love. But every single time I have to go in for an appointment, I think to myself, oh my gosh, is this going to be the time that, they flip on me? I'm like, and then I don't know if I told you, like years ago, they were trying to do like the in-home health visit with me, and I fought that off. Well, just recently I got a call again from them, and they said that uh, wanted me to call them back, so I called it back, and they said some kind of agency, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's just supposed to be my health insurance, and oh well, we're contracted through your health insurance, and we've been assigned to come to your home for a in-home wellness check. And I'm like, no, I said no, I don't do that. But it's a service. It's free. Your insurance provides it for free. They do it yearly. And I said, and I don't do that. And she's like,
there's a reason anything free. First of all, when have you ever got anything free? If you want to give us something free, give us some gasoline for free, okay? Little oil change for free. Do it. Try that one. How about some new tires on my car? Give that for free. When have you ever heard that happening? But when they want to come into your home for an in-home visit, or they want to give you a free flu, pointer in the armor or buttocks, or a free C to the B to the D, wear the masky every day tea, little pointer in the armor or the buttocks. Anything free, guys. Those are the only things free you're getting. You might get some free fluoride rinse in your school for your children. It's like little pink lips and pink teethies, right? It's free. It's free for everyone.
right.
But nothing else is free, is it? Is your food free?
Yeah, well,
I guess it would be, and I would watch that too, by the way, especially the angel food.
Yeah, and look at the technology, the information, it's free. But guess what? I mean, I'm going to tell you what I put at the end of my post today. And it says, point being.
Your fact checker is definitely free, but it's not truthful.
Point being, if you see something deep in your mind, heart, and soul that could change the course of the world, not only screenshot immediately, save it on another device, and print it out on paper and seal each page. Start your own Book of Eli.
She's right.
Technology is not your friend. Nothing is free. There's a price to pay for everything.
Developing into a sentient being, as far as I'm concerned. It is.
There's a price to pay for
everything. You don't have the manpower to do what it's doing right now, so it's developing its own self. It really is.
Because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
That is so true. Write it down, take pictures, because your mind, for real, a real mind is a terrible thing to waste. Candy's so right, guys. I mean, algorithm is literally like my YouTube channel has enough followers that it should have been recommended and broadcasted everywhere, and people should have been seeing it long, long ago. They make sure that I don't get any more the likes or the subscriptions. And by the way, your comments on the channels, and I've told Sheila this a million times too, if you guys leave any comment, anything, it helps lift that up to where they will recommend it. But because people like they like to watch, but they don't want to comment, well, we're not here to get rich or famous. I don't make a dime. They will never monetize me ever because of my content. So just in case this helps you all at all to rethink and configure, maybe leaving a like or a comment, please do. We don't get a dime. Never will because of my content. They flat out said. We don't do this for money. We do this to help everyone. Everyone like us and everyone that's not like us, that are like us, that just don't know they're like us, and everyone else that's not an algorithm. This is important. It's the most important thing you can do. Leave a comment, a thumbs up. I've said this a million times to all my friends on here, everyone I know. Nobody does it. They're just like, I'm too busy. I'm going to watch the whole channel. But to lift my finger up and hit like or type, hi guys, in the comments is just too much to ask. If you want to save a life, this is a good way to start. We're trying and it will help. Like I said, there's no fame or riches coming out of this. I will never be monetized. Never have once done this to be monetized. It's never going to happen.
Certainly no glory either.
What's that?
There's no glory either.
There's no glory at all. Like we are putting our faces with a name that nobody wants to recognize. I mean, it's not you, it's us. We're doing it. So the least you could do is please just a thumbs up, a like, subscribe to the channel, anything, because you're helping the world. You're not doing anything else if you don't do that. You're doing nothing else. And if you're like, oh, they're gonna get some money, I don't want to see them get any money. No, don't worry, we're not. And we already are putting our faces out there to get picked on every day. So the least you could do, the very least, just give us a thumbs up, or even a thumbs down helps. By the way, it does. That helps too. I hate to say it, but it's true. Just anything. Leave a comment. Don't go and just say something on Facebook or post a picture if you're clouded. Just say something that helps everyone instead of nothing that helps no one.
Hey, say my name, damn it. Say my name.
Say my name. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Say my name.
Oh, God.
A never-ending story. It's true though, guys. You gotta be the light that shines. We don't want to be the darkness that follows behind.
Oh, and then even another thing, like even some of the stuff you see on YouTube, it's like I said, I was involved with a couple of groups. I did some interviews. I sent you that CD that had my interview on there, but that lady took her YouTube channel down. So that interview, if it hadn't been put on that CD, would have been gone forever. And I'm like,
I gotta show the songs before we get off of here.
oh yeah,
I gotta show it. What was it called again? You guys bear with me.
Digital Clouds.
You guys gotta hear this.
Digital Clouds.
Digital Clouds. Okay.
Digital Clouds.
So Candy, you keep talking. I gotta pull this up because Candy, tell them the story about Digital Cloud song I'm getting ready to put up.
Oh, okay. So
as far as like you getting with the guy and telling him.
Yeah. So anyway, years ago, I was involved in this group that they were doing a lot of stuff for awareness. And that's the group that asked me about putting my face on the billboard for Morgellons. It was the first Morgellons billboard ever. And I think it's the only one ever of its kind ever. So anyway, I did that.
That was awesome.
And then they decided they were going to do like put a collection of interviews and different things together from different people from all around the world that, you know, was speaking out about stuff. And so my interview went on this CD, but there was a young man, very young guy, that wrote this song about the spraying that's going on in the sky and of all the technology and things that are happening in the world. And so, you know,
is it coming up or no?
It's time to. And I told him, I was like, you need to put something in there about Morgellons. And he actually did change the song, and he added in there, "This is for the poor fellas with Morgellons disease," and he's scratching his arm. I forget which part is that. I'll bring it to your attention when I hear it, though.
I'm sorry, I can't stop it. So is it coming though? Is it on?
I hear it in the background, but I don't see it up on the screen. It needs to be up on the screen.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get ready to start this over, but hold on. Is it up?
It's trying to be. Hold on. Yep. You got the screen up, but not that one. You have to start it over when you get to it.
Somehow I've lost the whole thing again.
So this guy is his group name is Homage, but his name is David Castle.
I can't stop this, so hold on and bear with me.
You need to show the video though. Oh my god, hilarious.
I can't stop it to save my life.
Maybe I can pull it up on my phone and do it. You get a better.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to stop this in the meantime because holy wow.
There he went about Morgellons disease. We just said it.
That was a lot of noise. All right.
Oh, here.
So, now it's what do you know? That's crazy. I think I got it this time. I don't know what was going on.
If not, I got it on my phone. But yeah, the video needs to be shown too, because it's like.
So, okay, digital cloud song. Here we go. Is it showing up on our channel now? Right now?
There he is. It's coming. Yeah, it's there. Can you turn the volume up?
So guys, it'll go. Red streaks and digital clouds.
There you go. So this is
Morgellons disease. You heard that. So I'm gonna stop it because they'll probably give me a copyright. Did you guys heard that Morgellons disease, right? You guys can thank Candy Nelson for that. She actually got them to put in Morgellons disease, as you heard him sing it.
He's scratching his arm. This is for Morgellons disease.
I love it. I love it. But you know, like They ain't singing about it for nothing, crew. They're not. There's a reason. There's a reason because it's real.
And he's young.
It's
And
real.
that's what got me. He's so young. And I'm like, oh my God, he gets it. And it's
Yeah, he's like my kids' age, and yet my kids can't see it. They're like, that's not real. I'm like,
then he had his buddies there doing it with him. So obviously they have eyes wide open too, and it's so refreshing to see.
It doesn't discriminate, and it involves all ages. And either you're going to be awake to it or you're not, but it all has to do ultimately with a spiritual awakening to truth. And when you get awake to truth, I believe Satan has his ways of haunting you because you know the truth, as well as the fact that, well, it's in everyone, and dodos be dodos all day long. So that wasn't nice.
I was just so happy that he put that part in there, and I'm like, it's all.
I love that you asked him to do that because that was important.
Yeah.
So
that's what I told
you did good, Candy. You're a billboard girl. I love it. All right, girly. Well, I am gonna have to jump off here. So, would you like to add anything else? I know you got to too. It's late where you are. You're way later than me. So, would you like to add anything else tonight? Any of you guys, if you want to say a thing, want to be on the show or the channel? No, we can't pay you because we don't get paid either. Once again, would you please leave a like or a comment or anything? Just subscribe. I don't care if you go poop. Just write poop. Just write poop. That's all you gotta do. POOP. Write that in the comments. All you gotta do. Right? Plain and simple. Plus you can just leave some fresh.
Ruth said, walk right in and sit right down. Daddy, let your hair hang down.
I like that song. I like that song. That's actually good too. All right, my loves. Love you all very much. I don't know what I would do without any of you. Want to thank you, Candy, again for being our poster child, and she a billboard girl. She's a pinup, and she didn't even know it. She really is.
I swear, we need to find some way to raise some money to do another damn billboard. I don't mind putting my face.
I'm game. And hold on, let me show you guys. Bear with me. I'm gonna go get this off my fridge that I have.
And I did this billboard, guys, right in the middle of a custody battles with my
So, there we go.
they've taken that website down.
I'm not surprised. Peekaboo. They're gonna take everything down when it has to do with us. Like that's why I'm not monetized. Why they could care less. But it's okay, YouTubes, booby tubes. It's okay, booby tube. We never did this for the money. We did this for the truth. That's all. Something you got not in your pocket. So.
Let me show you.
But yeah, this is truth right here.
This is my billboard that I did.
I love it. And that, you guys, like I said, she's a real pinup gal right there. I'm not even lying. She really is. She's amazing. We need to do another one. We do.
And that one
it's important that we do. But I mean, honestly, it's a factor because it is important.
Well, that one went up in Atlanta, Georgia, right by the airport, right? And at nighttime, it was like electronic, so it lit up the whole sky at night.
I'm here by Houston. Houston, we have a problem. We need to put it here. The Gulf Coast, where the water's bad, the sky's bad. Nassau sounds like a donkey is right here. I mean, I couldn't think of a better spot for a billboard. Speak the truth, baby. Speak the truth all day long.
Well, and that was a shared one because it's electronic, so they'll do one for like a minute, and they do another one. So I don't know if that helps to like keep the cost down where it's not like one billboard up all the time.
I'm willing to just go stand at an overpass and hold.
I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about that.
I've done that actually. I'm not gonna lie.
They call that
I used to leave little notes everywhere.
They call it honk. What do they call that? Where you hold the sign up and you get people to honk. I saw that.
Oh, honk if you're morgy.
Right.
Something
like jealous is real. Honk.
Honk if you're morgy. No. But I mean, I did that. I actually did do that. I'm just one person, but I'm on I-10. Interstate runs from all the way from the west coast to the east coast. And I have thrown out flyers, and I have Candy and I have cards that we leave in doctor's offices or wherever we go. There are ways that you can use your voice, and I don't want to hear, I'm just a little person. Honey, you are everything, and your voice matters. And so don't like lose it, utilize it.
Hey,
It's true.
I could put on a wig and go down to the hospital with a big old poster right at the entrance to the hospital with a big sign. More jealous is real.
Oh wait, I can tell you someone that knows this real. Hold on. Remember your friend?
Which one?
A blue friend.
My who?
Hold on. Hi guys.
Oh Lord have mercy.
More jealous is real. Bye. Can't keep him off the screen. He's a superstar. But for real, guys, use your voices. Use anything and everything. And we do need to work on a billboard. But if you don't, you got a sheet, got a bottle of spray paint, spray it on there, and just go hang it over an overpass. Double dog dare ya. Double dog dare ya. Don't ever double dog dare me because I take the ball. So. True story.
That'd be cool. Just pin it up on on one of those chain link fences that run alongside the overpass.
I'm telling you, there's plenty of spots, and I'm not gonna lie, you might get in trouble. Might be called littering. That's why I like hang around and take it back down, and put it back up and take it back down. But it's true, you can do that. There's nothing illegal about that. Well, maybe, but look at all these
Hey, as long as you make sure that's good and pinned on there, so it don't fall on somebody's windshield and cause an accident.
Yeah, no, that's true too. Actually, I just hold it and be like, honk if you're mortgaging. No. But I mean, really though, there are ways to do this. Like I said, Candy and I have little business cards made up that we leave everywhere. I mean, I leave them on parking lots. I leave them on people's seats, and whatever it be. Like Walmart, those waiting line for the bathroom or whatever. They always have bench seats out there, right? I'll put a card there, and you would be surprised. I've actually had 3 people thus far that have subscribed to the channel and said, hey, found your card. And I said, did you find it in Florida or Texas? 1 in Florida and 2 in Texas, by the way, Candy. I forgot to tell you that.
Wow.
So, and I didn't even think to ask where, but it doesn't
Hey,
matter.
I've left him on the back of the toilet at the doctor's office.
That was the Florida one. I'm just kidding. Actually, it probably was, though, because, I mean, when you go to the bathroom, yeah, your little board.
The imaging center, the hospital, you go in the bathroom in the stall, you got the little toilet paper holder, just put it right up there, stick it in the mirror.
That's a good idea. I'm going to tape it to every other square on the toilet paper roll. No, I mean, for real, guys, though, there are ways, and there are ways for you to utilize not only your voice, your skill. And, I mean, we got a young kid singing about it, for crying out loud,
Hey,
come on.
You can get one of those little flip spiral notebooks and just write on each one of them. More Jellins is real, and take a piece of, a thing of.
I actually do that all the time.
Piece of Scotch tape with you, and every stall you go into, tear one off and taped it on the back of the door.
I haven't done that one yet, but I do, because I live out of my car basically when I'm working. Like, I'm on surveillance, right? It gets boring when you're sitting there waiting for someone to get on the move or whatever. So I start writing in my little spiral, and I start tearing those out and fold them into little squares and leaving them here and leaving them there. One of these days, I'm going to get a sign made for my car, actually, a magnetic sign. And I've been saying that forever, and I really do need to do that, because can you imagine if, so many of us were riding around with those magnetic strips on our vehicles? This is more gallons as well, face the truth or something like that. Ooh, I'm making one. I'm gonna make one. So if you guys are interested in one of those, let me know. I'm gonna see about getting like a bundle of those made up, along with the t-shirts though. But it's. I know that more gallons is just an aspect of this, but it is an aspect that matters. It's a piece of the puzzle that's significant, and the targeted individuals. Same for you too, all of us. Whatever you're going through. Tell everyone about it. Speak about it. Talk about it. You have to. It's important. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And by gosh, they're going to literally be like, believer, like, okay, what's the worst they can do now?
Well,
call the I don't believe you patrol. I mean, give me a break. So I've been taken away. Then what? I can't do anything.
Like I said, you keep talking until somebody listens, because that's the only way I got any support. Is because I talked to people until people finally was like, oh, I believe you, very first time. So if you want to get support, you can't shut your mouth about it, and you can't be quiet about it. Because guess what? Even the
Too
one
many of us saying the same thing.
that
And
was
if this ever went
supposed
to
to
a court
support
of
me
law,
didn't. And if I had stopped talking about it, then I wouldn't have found the support and love that I have from people that don't even have it.
amen. Exactly. Well, like we know
I
everyone
would have
at
never
work.
found them if I shut up.
Can you imagine though if we got enough of us? I mean, say just a court case, right? If all 500,000 plus of us showed up one day knowing that there was a case coming up, everybody showed up at the courthouse steps, there would be no other person in the world that could ever deny us again because there would be too many of us taking up miles of pavement and parking lots to show up in truth. And it is possible. That's not even a dream. It's not like it's an impossible
But
thing to
you
do.
got so many people
You
that
think about it.
want to control your thought pattern on it. That's the problem. That's why we
That
come
is the
together,
problem. MK knows very well.
some people believe in the tick-borne theory, the great Lyme lie. You know, some
Yeah.
are the
All the
nanotech
lies.
parts, some are the
Just
GMO
write it
parts.
down on your forearm or tattoo. No, I'm just kidding. I actually did tattoo it on me. It says "in the fight,"
Oh, wow.
but that's how I remind myself of the truth every day. But
Well, you know what? When
there
I
are
did the
ways.
billboard, one of my other friends, her name is Andrea, and she went, when I did the billboard, she's like, oh, I got to do something. She went and got a tattoo put on her that says Morgellan's Warrior, tattoo permanent. And then her husband,
That's on me too, and also this one. I don't know if you can see it, but it says "in the fight."
and guess what? Then
And I have Morgellons Warrior on my back.
Then her husband went out and got one too, just like it, that said married to a Morgellan's Warrior.
I love that. I wish I would have had a man that supported me like that. Anyone, actually, anyone at all.
I actually got to meet.
Speaking of,
I actually got to meet
so-
them too face to face when I went to Tennessee to Rick's wedding. Yeah.
And George, I love George. He's such a good man.
Oh,
Just tell George we love him. He is. I mean, he's a hero too. You guys are both heroes because it wouldn't be easy to be married to one of us without having Morgellons, right? But when we do have Morgellons, and we have men that and it's not. They're not always the best at the beginning, but the fact that he stood by her and this other woman you're talking about, those are some good men right there, and there's good women supporting men that have more talents too. So
I say when I go to the doctor and they're like, well, if I tell them about anything, it's like, well, how's your marriage? How's your sex life?
how's yours not?
I'm like, oh, what's that got to do with this?
Nothing.
So you're trying to
I'll tell you what.
make it look like I'm having marital problems or I need some psychological.
That kills me too because I watch normal everyday people that can't keep it together for nothing and have no anything, right? But sometimes I think that this is what keeps the fight in us. Period. And for the spouse too, because when you take things for granted, you got nothing to fight over, argue over. You got nothing at the end of the day, right? But when you have something worth fighting for, like George and you and your love, I think that makes some people fight harder. Not mine. Never mind.
Well, I've always been spunky, and he was always attracted to the spunky part, but he just didn't realize how spunky I could get.
I love it. George got a good woman, and you got a good man. I'm so happy for you guys. I love that. And some of us are like, we never get married. Nobody will ever understand us. But you know what? I believe in miracles. I believe God will put whoever is supposed to be in our lives at the right time if it's meant to be. And if there's nobody that comes along, don't say, well, never, that's not going to happen to me. Just say, well, thank you, Lord. I guess I was better off alone anyway. That now I don't have to tell anyone where I'm going or what I'm doing. I mean, that's kind of how I feel right now. But I wouldn't be sad if God placed a good person in my life that understands this. But it's going to take a miracle, guys. But I believe in miracles. I believe in miracles. I do. So, wow. Love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.